Who's a fat boy?
Podcast Fat Boy.
Aloha, my friends. It is here. Podcast Fat Boy is on location in Maui. Right now, I am in Kanapali, which is on the northwest shore of Maui. My view right now is of the beautiful ocean, a nice golf course in front of me, which I have no plans to go and play and ruin the trip, because that's what golf does for me. I can see Molokai Island, which is very clear today. Beautiful ridges. It's unbelievable. And then Lanai to my left. If you can also picture just super nice turquoise ocean, very blue sky, and nice clouds forming over the mountains or the volcanoes. It is quite a sight. And I originally wanted to get this podcast out a little bit earlier. I was hoping maybe the first Wednesday or so, but we're getting toward the end of the journey now. You know, it's been very busy. I've been going to bed early. I've been getting up very early for me, guys. 6:30, 7 o'clock latest. That's just the clock we're in here, which is good because you want to get a lot of stuff done during your day. And yeah, I haven't like exactly been getting drunk or partying too much or even really drinking that much. It is 11:30 a.m. here, and I am drinking. Got an early start to the day. But can you blame me in this paradise? I'm not going to do any noise reduction cleanups on this podcast, so you can hear I'm out on my deck, my patio up here on the second floor at the Maui El Dorado. Boy, it has been quite the journey. Let's start from when I came in. We got in at about 5 a.m. Toronto time, and then I had to drive in the dark to find our resort. That was the most tired I have ever been, and having to focus like that, trying to get used to a new road, it is very tiring, folks. I do not recommend it, but that's what you get when you pay $640 for a return flight from Maui to Toronto. You're paying for the crap time that you get here. Which is fine, because it's so far away. You're gonna be tired somewhere. So yeah, we've got 3 nights left. We got some stuff planned. Boy, we've done a lot. We have done a lot. We've done the road to Hana, which was a bit of a beautiful nightmare, if you will. You drive alongside the mountains, and it's a drive that you just won't do anywhere else in the world. It is absolutely gorgeous, but it takes a lot of focus, and you also have locals who drive on this road every day. They just, it's just their normal route, and they have to deal with tourists every day, abiding by the very, very slow speed limits. So they tend to tailgate you, and the custom is to pull over. And sometimes when you're on a mountain, and like in Hana there, pulling over means dying, because you're on about 2 feet from death. And they don't really care about that. So sometimes I felt like I had to commit suicide just so that they could get home to watch Jeopardy a little bit faster. Hey, I understand. When I've got a program on that I want to watch, I don't want some tourist being in my way, screwing up my schedule. So, yeah, I had to do that a couple of times. And then they give you the shaka as if us North Americaners would know as like the Hawaiian dude surfing. You close your fist and you have your thumb and pinky out, and they do a little shake. And that is a customary thing here. And it means like, cool, man, thanks. That was a cool thing you did pulling over. So they give you a little shaka. I've been shocking like crazy. We have a tour guide app that I paid for, and he's been popping up teaching us all kinds of fun facts about Hawaii. This is actually pronounced Hawaii, if you want to get technical, because they do not have a W in their alphabet. They just have a V. So, yeah, it's actually pronounced Hawaii. Isn't that fun? Isn't that a fun little tidbit? I've got tons of tidbits, okay? One of the things that I'm was really fascinated with here is how, it feels like everywhere you go is a walk, but because everything is so vast and mountainous and, the views, you don't really notice how much you're walking all the time. So I have been getting a lot of exercise, guys. I have definitely not been gaining weight here. I've been eating a lot of fish, which is unlike me. I'm not usually a huge fishmonger. But man, the poke bowls, which is like raw tuna, like sashimi grade tuna, cut up into chunks and like mixed with all kinds of sauce. I had like poke tacos. I've had the poke bowl, which is it just raw in little piles. Oh, if you like your sashimi, you gotta get the poke bowl when you're in Hawaii, especially in Maui. So this stuff is pretty fresh. We actually bailed on our Airbnb in Hana, which is in the jungle. We stayed one night. Our guests stayed for two, and we we ran out of there with our hair on fire. It was a little isolated, very itchy, mosquitoes, invisible mosquitoes, just eating you from the insides. And we just weren't, we've got cottages back home. We don't really need the rustic part of this trip, and we didn't want to blow 3 nights sitting in the jungle, banging our heads against a palm tree like a toucan woodpecker. Yeah, they exist. So anyways, it's been a unbelievable trip so far. We've still got so much left to do. We're really packing in these last days. Going to do sunset cruise. We're going to do a luau. We're going to do some snorkeling at Molokini, which is like a crater just off the south coast there, where you can see some really cool fish. So we've been doing a little bit of snorkeling, and it's terrifying because they don't have a lot of shark attacks here, but there are definitely sharks that have been reported. Tiger sharks, the worst. Great whites, apparently, I was surprised that they've had very few since they've been recording, like 13 great white shark sightings, which I find pretty insane since we're, on this little dot in the middle of the ocean. I do think great whites do come here. They just probably don't get close enough to shore. I think that's it, because they go back and forth, to the mainland coasts there of California and whatnot. One thing I wanted to talk about that I can't stop singing, that Over the Rainbow song by Israel, as you might know him. Now, I'm going to try and say his last name once, but then I'm just going to refer to him as Kamakawiawole. I believe that's his last name. I watched videos just to see how to say his last name, and watching him even say his last name, I feel like he doesn't feel confident saying his last name. Every time he says, he's like, I'm Kamaka, which I understand. Just because you have a tricky last name doesn't, it's going to be, I would have a hard time, and as obviously he's just like, call me Iz, because his name's Israel, and it's like, this is confusing, what's going on here? Okay. And if you don't know this is like I'll just play a little quick clip of his one song that's very popular. So that's Over the Rainbow by Iz. Very popular song. Now, this man died 20 years ago this June. We're almost at the 20-year anniversary. So I wonder if there's going to be some kind of big thing, because it's a nice round number, 20, since he died. He died before Diana. Tough year. Diana and Iz both died months apart. He was, you're probably wondering why am I talking about Iz right now? He's kind of like the Gord Downey of Hawaii in a sense, like we all know Gord Downey is, a patriotic Canadian who's terminally ill. And it's gonna, it's kind of that same thing. Now, the reason Iz died, his peak weight was 747 pounds. So Iz was a big dude, okay? And it's rare that you would see a successful musician that probably the most morbidly obese successful musician in the world. I don't know if there's anyone who's been chubbier than that. And he looked like a really friendly dude, and it probably stings him a bit that this is like the main thing worldwide he's known for is a couple of covers, but he also has a lot of other great Hawaiian music, so you should link up your Spotify and get your ukulele out and, play and sing along. Oh, if you can hear, there's a helicopter tour going on right now. They're going over to Molokai, and I think we might do that too. Pretty exciting. So, the reason I brought him up is obviously this is podcast Fat Boy, obviously, and would have been a great guest on the podcast. It's funny to think of a time in he died in 97. There were no such thing as podcasts, guys. He has no idea. So even if I find his spirit, I'll have to explain to him what a podcast is. I mean, it's a pretty easy explanation. It's pretty much, radio on the internet. What's the internet? Sit down, let's have some poi. You're probably wondering what poi is. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about calories, okay? Native Hawaiian food is poi. It comes from the taro root, okay? They farm this shit. It's the root in the ground of some taro plant. And apparently it kind of looks like something the Lost Boys imagined when they were eating, back in the episode I was talking about the Lost Boys in Hook. Kind of like, not quite a bright painted clay, but just like a gray clay-ish bowl. And there's usually three consistencies of it. You eat it with one finger. That's a thick bowl of poi, son. 2, middle, 3. You're running all over the place here. You're practically turning your 3 fingers into a giant spoon, and you're just slurping it in. You're going to probably want to put a little bread in it at that point. Apparently, it's not tasty, and it's an acquired taste, even by some of the native Hawaiians. So you're probably wondering, I can't do a weigh-in here. Hopefully I don't have a parasite when I get back I'll be 100 pounds because I have been eating a lot of raw fish, and that's always a concern, but boy have I been going on for some hikes. There's one other hike up in kind of the mountains that we really want to do. It looks so beautiful. I brought my goddamn hiking shoes, so I might as well break them in. They're brand new. There's not a smidge of dirt on them. So, we've just been chilling out here on the beach, jam-packed days. It's been super nice. I'm just like I'm a human cheeseburger in paradise, though. That's what I kind of feel like. I'm just this cheeseburger that's floating around and sucking in different foods and drinks, and at the same time trying to can. I'm trying to can while I'm eating to keep if you can picture that, that's essentially what I'm doing, trying to get keep in shape. Also, an interesting tidbit, I don't know if you can hear, but you probably don't hear my whiskers brushing against the mic because I am clean shaven. Usually people grow a beard when they're on vacation because they're like, hey, this is fun. Hey, the office won't let me do it, so why don't I do it on holidays? And I'm the opposite because I have to have a beard because of my headshots. So I shaved on vacation, and when I go home, I have to grow my beard back, which is weird. But you know what? I kind of missed it, and I think that's a goal of mine to get some new headshots done maybe this summer, and that are clean-faced, so I have the option to do both, because it is tough to be forced into the facial hair. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a clean-shaven baby. I look about 7 years younger than the 46-year look I have with a beard. And, I've just been sitting here. I can't get Iz out of my head. I'll just give you a couple of tidbits about Iz that may not be true. They say that you cannot bring volcanic rock back or any of the sand or anything like that because it affects the spirit of the island. I think that's true. I also think that if enough people did it, there would be no island. There would just be some bare bones, some dried out palm trees, because everyone would take a pocket full of sand, if they will. So they try to put a little bit of a scare into you about the spiritual, unification of the island. And I like to say that if you goddamn take anything from this island, a rock, a turtle shell, what have you, unless you pay for it in a commercial zone of tourism, the spirit of Iz will sit on you and glue your mouth shut with poi. Okay, so I'm trying to get that one going. And there was also a fun tidbit that before Iz died, his casket was donated to Hawaii, and today is used as a cruise ship. Apparently that is a real dad joke, not funny. But I just want, as one fat boy to another, we can kind of, crack jokes like that. Is, if you are listening, you can crack some fat Canadian bacon jokes about me. Because I've obviously thrown a couple of lava-dipped darts. So, I'm having a good time. I'm on vacation, guys. Fat boy needed this because you know what? I'm looking in the mirror, and I think sometimes when you go on vacation, you need a little bit of like a change of view, not just from where you live, but on yourself. So I kind of have some different goals now. Like, I think that when I get back home next week, there could be some big changes coming. Like, I want to see some real change because I feel a bit inspired out here. I'll leave you, before I go, I'm just going to... Oh, can you feel that? That's a breeze, baby. That's a breeze. I'm going to try and shield from it a little bit. Before I go, just what other tidbits I could tell you. If you want to do the drive to Hana, which is like the northeast jungle part of Maui, don't use it as a base to go to Mount Halakala, which is the volcano crater, because you do not want to do that drive at night if you want to see a sunset. Do not do that. Okay, because we totally bailed on that. But there's some beautiful stuff there. You got to go see the Black Sand Beach. Black Sand what? Yeah, Black Sand Beach, guys. It was nuts. But remember this too. Something about the shade black, right? It's super hot. So you can imagine what that feels like on your feet, the dry part of Black Sand Beach. Wow. We could have had breakfast on that sand. Sandy eggs. Sandy scrambled eggs and bacon. Yummy in my tummy. What else can I tell you? Maybe not go to like 10 different resorts like we did. We are staying at the Outrigger brand of kind of like condo resorts, which is nice because you have like a washer and dryer. You've got your full kitchen. You can do all that stuff. But maybe pick two. My favorite place so far has been Wailea, which is in the southwest. And Kanapali, it's so hard to remember this stuff, but Kanapali is really nice. It's where we are now. We were also in Napili, which is a little bit north of here. Not bad, but very touristy. Lahaina used to be the capital of Hawaii. Didn't know that. before Honolulu. Honolulu has only been the capital of Hawaii since 1946. So when Pearl Harbor happened, the capital was Lahaina. So I wonder, because of so much, pride is around Pearl Harbor now with Americans, did that help move the capital to Honolulu? Because Lahaina definitely doesn't seem like a capital city. It seems like a full-on tourist town where you can, buy goofy signs, and it's where they amp up to sell to tourists there. So also just on the health part of this, I'm going to do a little bit of a fast food tour. You know how much I love McDonald's. The first night we got here with, going on 24 hours awake, no food around, we did go to McDonald's, and there's been apparently some differences between the food there. And I'll tell you, they do, I think it's, they use the ooze for the chicken nuggets, like the chicken ooze, not like in Canada they actually use the fresh chicken, in quotations, air quotes. And there, you could definitely tell that, like, oh yeah, this is like grinded up cartilage. This is, I can't get my head around it. And I ruined my partner's chicken nugget meal. Sorry, but I have to make these observations for the podcast, for my listeners, for Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod, who might want to come here and eat some Jack in the Box. Okay, Jack in the Box, very good burger, delicious. It was really good. So yeah, those are pretty much the only two I've hit. Not a ton of fast food out here. There've been some really good food trucks, eating some tacos like you would not believe. Oh man, some good taco food, good food truck stuff. South Maui Fish Company, what up? There, if you're in Wailea, make sure you go there to have a poke bowl. Overall, definitely coming back. Can definitely see Tay and I coming back to this place, and kind of knowing now what the island's about, what we want to do. We're just I can't believe it's been almost, it's been 7 days. It feels like I've been here 2 months. This is the most time I've taken off in a long time. So there's that North American guilt about that as well. But I hope all my fats back home are doing well. I hope you guys are eating a solid brunch meal and feeling good, and I'm excited for the end of trip weigh-in, which I will do when I get home on Thursday, just to see. I think I was about 225 when I left. I'm hoping I'm like right around there, or maybe even a little less. If I'm like 223 or 2, I'd be super happy with that. And I'm really, guys, cue the Rocky music, because I am ready to come back home and just hit the ground running on a bunch of different levels. You get me? So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. This has been part 1. I will try and do a finale part 2 on Wednesday before we head on the plane. I probably won't post it till Thursday or Friday, depending if I have time. But it has been a dream boat, and I would like to say mahalo, which is thank you, and aloha, which is hello. And I'd also like to say mahalo, which is thank you, goodbye, fat out.